Hey, we be live. We have two people watching us, as Jonathan said. I'm not sure where Colton is, but Henry said he'll be about 5 minutes late, so he'll be joining us. How's everybody out there in live stream land?
Oh, now we just have one.
I wouldn't trust that counter. I think the counter's lying. Y'all can see that I have changed my background. I guess that's what you say. I moved to a new apartment and I'm in boxes. These are books. And you'll notice that I've got my clothes sorted. My clothes are sorted onto different places in my bookcase because I don't have a clothing storage solution right now.
Also
So
called
that's something. A dresser. We have dressers in Israel, but normally we build like non-walk-in closets. But I don't have one. I want to put one maybe against the wall over those windows and then be able to hang clothes and stuff there and maybe get another bookcase. But here we are in a new apartment, and thank you very much, Muriel.
Is it a nicer apartment or is it a step
You asked questions to which I may not provide answers because I do have a roommate listening probably in the next room. So I don't want to say, oh, the apartment sucks. No, it's nice. It's my room. My room is very comfortable. I have my air conditioning going, which I'm going to turn off because it's a little bit loud. So it's cool and nice in here. What?
I couldn't hear anything. We are in the middle of what they're calling a heat dome on the weather, which I have never heard.
A heat dome?
Yeah, a heat dome. But it is 11 degrees above normal temperature for this time of year.
Wow.
It is supposed to get up to 18 degrees above normal on Thursday.
Whoa. Wow. Good. I guess this microphone works well. If that's the case, I must block out the background noise. Can you hear me all right? I just got my computer set up today.
Yes.
I've been moving for about the last week, and today I got my books here, which was a real chore, the bookcase and everything, and I carried all this stuff down 2 flights of stairs and up 3 flights of stairs, and my whole body hurts. I didn't hire movers. I went on the cheap, and I went on the very cheap, but it's good. Today we are continuing our walk through, or run through, I guess, the book of Joshua. We are in chapter 10. We're going to stop at the end of this chapter, which I think we're going to be able to conquer very quickly, and then decide on the Emshech, the continuation of our reading project. We talked about going into the Psalms, so I think it would be a good idea today at the end. I'm sure we'll have time to have people give feedback about some specific psalms that they really enjoy. Like for instance, Psalm 121, I think is what it is. I will lift up my eyes to the hills. Like, this is one of my favorite psalms, so I want that for sure to be included. But I want your guys' feedback on psalms that you really love. Maybe if you have the ability to split your attention during the lesson, you might pull out a Tanakh and go through and pick out a psalm that you particularly like, and we'll add it to the list, and we'll see where we go from there. We'll also talk shortly about a book recommendation for reading the Psalms, and maybe get some input also from Henry and Jonathan about resources that they would use. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started. What do you think, Jonathan?
About what? About what to do
next? Getting started instead of waiting for...
I think we should get started.
All right.
It was always originally just the two of us anyway. There's always the two of us. Joshua 10.
Wow. It sounds so romantic. It's just the two of us.
Well, don't get your hopes up, Jason.
So now we are in 1034, as you can see there. I kind of want to keep us over on the side. What do you think? Do you prefer the side or the bottom like this? What do you think?
I like the side because it doesn't cover up the text.
All right. Yes. So we're in verse 34. We're going to notice that basically what we're reading now should flow very quickly because it is almost identical to what we were doing at the end of the reading last week, and we're just changing out the names of the cities. All right, so I'll read the first one very quickly, and then we'll move on to the next. Vayavor Yehoshua v'chol Yisrael imo miLachish Eglona. Lachish is one city, and Eglon is another city. Eglona. Vayachanu aleha vayilachamu aleha. Okay, so Joshua passed. Notice the verb is singular. Vayavor. Joshua went on. He passed on. And all Israel with him. So we do have a compound subject. It's a subject that includes more than one. Obviously, it's Joshua and all of Israel with him. But the verb, instead of saying vayavru, they passed, it's vayavo, he passed.
Which is interesting because it could be either. I think.
It could be. You could have had a plural verb. But in this way, it's like connecting the verb to the singular subject Yehoshua and then mentioning the rest of Israel as an aside.
Yeah, I was going to say it looks like a parenthetical note or something.
Yeah. So it says, and Joshua passed on and all Israel with him. So we see this a lot in the Gospels if you read Greek, where it says, and Jesus went from there and his disciples. And so the disciples are thrown on with the main subject, which is Jesus. So these are two cities. Lachish is a city, Lachish, and Eglon. And when you add the hey on the end for direction, it becomes Eglona. To Eglon. Vayachanu, they camped. Now we see the plural in the subject, where it's Israel with Joshua. So, and they made camp against Eglon. They set their camp.
My professor would probably say this is bad writing.
Why?
Well, because they have singular once and then next they have plural. Like, why isn't it consistent?
Look who's here. Look at that right there. That young man has just jumped on the screen and.
Howdy.
Hi.
Sorry, I'm late.
Welcome.
I had something come up last second, so
it's good to know that you're human.
Yeah. So vayilachamu alea means that they fought against it. This is they're fighting against Eglon to overcome it and take it, because that's what we want to do. We want to capture cities and kill their inhabitants. There we go. Verse 35. Jonathan, go ahead.
Okay. Vayilkadua bayom hahu vayakuha lefi cherev ve'et kol hanefesh asher ba bayom hahu. I'm sorry, bayom hahu hecherim kechol asher asa lelachish. So they captured it on that day. And they struck it. I guess the lamed is marking as the object marker. They struck the mouth of, or they struck with the mouth of the sword. Maybe that's an instrumental.
Yeah, like an instrumental dative almost.
Yes,
right?
Correct. But you would expect a bait usually for that. Interesting. So they struck with the mouth of the sword, or maybe the edge of a sword, and every person in it, which was in it, nefesh being person. I would do on that day hecherim, they destroyed it, I guess. Hecherim,
wouldn't it be that they placed it under a ban?
Yeah, but it's a participle.
They devoted it, but what is the it? It's and every soul which was in it.
Right.
The verb is governing the
now we have another verb that agrees with its subject over and against the first verse.
So what is the subject of Echerim?
It looks like Henry's in the chat. On the call.
There he goes. Got him.
Hey folks, sorry I'm late.
Hi, Henry.
Hi. Hey, Jonathan. It's good seeing you again.
Good seeing you again.
Yeah.
Thank you. I had to hide that Facebook post so as to not get pissed off.
Good. Okay. But I don't think it was about Joshua.
No, it wasn't. I'm just telling you as an aside. Now
okay.
let's go back to Joshua.
Yeah. Isn't the subject, first of all, 𝗥𝗚𝗦𝗘𝗧 isn't a participle. It's a call perfect, right?
Mm-hmm.
𝗥𝗚𝗦𝗘𝗧, not 𝗥𝗚𝗧. So it should not be a participle, and its subject should be Joshua.
Yep.
Right? And the thing that interests me about 𝗥𝗚𝗦𝗘𝗧 is its third masculine singular, whereas
oh, you're right. It's a _hifil. I was thinking the _해 was an article.
Yeah, no, I think it's a _hifil. But the other two verbal forms are third masculine plural, and this one changes to third masculine singular.
Yep. The gender and number mixing is weird in this passage. We've seen that. Saw that at the beginning.
Well, it kind of wrapped it up, didn't it? Like the first verse was in the singular. The first verse had the first word in the singular, and then it switched to the plural, and then it had the plural twice here, and then it goes back to the singular for two instances, because it's a 𝗥𝗚𝗦𝗘𝗧, and then also asa.
Asa, right.
In the singular.
Right.
We also, before you got here, they struck it with the edge of a sword.
Yeah, we saw
lamed on the front. You usually don't see a dative, an instrumental dative with a lamed on the front. Usually that's with a bait.
Right.
So we talked about this last week.
Yeah,
shortly.
lephi cherev is an idiom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually not sure if b'pi cherem or something similar to it ever occurs in the Hebrew Bible. I don't know that for sure, but it strikes me that lephi cherev is a common idiom.
Well, it's also bacherev or lephi cherev. Either way is like by sword. Right,
but I don't think it's b'fi cherev.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't remember seeing.
Well, like I think I mentioned last week, like just pulling from modern Hebrew, lefi or al-pi means by.
Right.
And so it wouldn't make sense to say befi cherev. It's just not an expression.
So hello, Jonathan Santana. Welcome in.
Yeah, let's pull up some questions before we go forward. Muriel's asking about Psalm 119. It's clear we're not going to tackle the entirety of that psalm.
Right. 176 verses is a lot.
We could make an entire year.
That's the whole series. That's the whole series is just Psalm 119.
Right.
We'll just call it that. Psalm 119, a 20-week series. And then we do. I'd like to know if words like commandments, judgments, statutes, precepts, decrees, etc. are more or less used as synonyms. And if not, what are the differences between the words? I would say most of the time they are synonyms. Probably judgments more have to do with, like, you would go to the priest and he would give you the decision, the judgment.
Right.
What it was that you needed to do in a given situation. But the judgments of God generally refer to the commandments in the Torah.
Yeah.
She says, I looked it up in Strong's, but wasn't satisfied with what I learned. I think it's going to be the case. Jonathan's going to say, that's your first mistake. Don't use Strong's.
That's what I just said. Jason knows me well.
But it's often the case that you have to be willing to accept ambiguity and non-clarity between definitional meanings.
Which is why I like Hebrew so much. It's a lot less precise than the Greek language. And I like that ambiguity. I think it's more interesting.
Henry, you wanted to say something?
Not anymore.
Why?
Because I want to get on to verse 36. If we start talking about the metaphysical relationship of Greek and Hebrew, we won't ever get done with Joshua 10.
What's going on?
I'm not one to participate in metaphysics. So.
I don't understand why Colton is asking me what's going on.
The other Jonathan.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, right.
Santana.
Boy, this is going to
Yeah.
be confusing. Maybe I should call myself John for this.
Well, you could just call him the guitarist.
Yeah.
That's true.
You could.
Although that's Carlos.
Yeah, but they share the same last name. He was one of my favorites back in the 70s, I got to admit.
He's still good.
No, I know.
All right, so who's tackling 36?
All right, 26 or 36.
We're back to a singular verb that has a compound
Right.
subject, right?
Well, I'll take this one because it's really short.
Okay.
Vaya'al Yehoshua v'kol Yisrael imo me'eglona herbona v'yelachmu aleha. Right?
Just that we remember the directional hey is it's a remnant of the accusative case in Hebrew,
Right.
and it's always de-emphasized. So not eglona and kevona, but eglona.
Oh, did I mispronounce it?
Just the placement of the stress.
Yeah.
the
Okay,
word
yeah,
stress.
you are right about that. So this one's easy. Vaya'al is a shortened form, call imperfect, third masculine singular with a vav consecutive. So when Joshua and all of Israel with him went up from Eglon to Hebron, and they, again, note the third masculine singular changes to a nifal imperfect third masculine plural, and they camped against her, which is Hebron.
He said Nifal.
What is that? Do we not say nifal?
Oh, well, that's a product of American seminaries.
Yeah, where they say cal instead of kal,
yeah,
and
cal,
nifal instead of
nifal.
nifal.
Pathak.
Well, but I didn't go. But remember, Jonathan, I didn't go to seminary.
Read up until the
Ooh.
Pathak, Jonathan.
He didn't go to seminary.
No, I went to Wheaton College, Wheaton Graduate School, and then to Claremont Graduate School.
Well, Andrew Hill should know better.
He wasn't there when I was there.
Oh, he wasn't there when you were there?
No. Yeah.
But anyway, it's nifal. Nifal is the name of the binyan. But Americans like
Right.
to say nifal.
Yeah, and I'll until the day I die, it'll be a call and a PL and a puwal and a nifal, and so I apologize.
Good.
I
Yes,
apologize
yes.
for any offense that my education will create.
Well, then,
No, Jonathan has run me in circles. You know, he's said a lot of strange things to me over the years. So
I believe
Great.
I've educated you about a lot of strange things over the years.
you really have.
Having
You
been
really
away from America for so long and having never studied in an American seminary,
and having never been to a seminary like Henry.
we need to get Jason Hare into a graduate program.
Anyway, what if Vayal is a short form you mentioned? What would be the long form that like we do see sometimes, right? The long form.
Wouldn't that be Vaya'aleh?
Vayale. Vayale Yoshua. Vayal Yoshua. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you will see John Cook and Robert Homestead put out, I want to say, an excellent beginner's Hebrew, like introductory grammar. And in their second level, the second level of their course textbook, they have like a running comic book reader of what is it? It's First Samuel, I think. No, it's First Kings.
They do.
I hope it's
First Kings.
They do. Yeah, First Kings. They do the Joseph story and the creation story in the first one.
Yeah, but in the second one, they do First Kings, the story of Elijah and Elisha, and in that we do run across several of the long forms. So instead of Vaya'an, we say Vaya'ane. Vaya'as becomes Vaya'ase.
Jonathan's a Cook fan. Wonderful.
The Ahab narrative, yes. Achav. Yeah. Exactly.
Achav.
Mm-hmm. All right. So one odd thing that you might comment about is this right there. Me'eglona Hebron.
Oh yes, that is absolutely right. That is something I was gonna I should have mentioned, because I thought when I was looking at this last night, how can you be going from and to Eglon at the same time?
Bad
Because
writing.
the hey on the end is toward, and the mem on the beginning is from, right?
Right. And so I would, if I were creating my own critical edition, I would assume that the hey is just a scribal mistake.
And there's no footnote.
No, there's nothing in the BHS.
Yeah.
Weird.
𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗚𝗛 Ħebrona, from Eglon to Hebron, but 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗚𝗛 Ħebrona, maybe from going toward Eglon to going toward Hebron. If you tried to justify it, but it is odd.
But look in verse 34. It's Lachish Eglona, right? There's no directional hey on Lachish, and I don't think there's a directional hey on the other ones that we saw last week. Verse 34.
To me, seeing all this stuff, all this inconsistent stuff, suggests that this
Verse 31
piece was written by multiple hands and redacted by multiple hands.
But you would think somebody would clean it up.
Yeah.
I have no opposition to seeing multiple layers in. I'd have a hard time. I'd have a hard time assigning multiplicity of hands to changes in number from singular and plural into this weird little directional hey. It doesn't occur in verse 34. It doesn't occur in verse 31.
Right.
Doesn't occur in verse 29. So I just rather count it as a mistake and not as a redactional hand. That's my opinion, though.
That would work because it's not really offering any additional information, is it?
No.
Yeah, you're right. I think you're right.
Yeah. For once in my life.
Oh, shush. You are way too modest and borderline self-deprecating. Stop it.
Well, self-deprecating is supposed to be funny.
Sorry.
Yeah, okay.
But I guess I'm not very funny either.
All right, let's go on.
So I think Colton, we're up to you for the
Sure.
for verse 37.
Yeah. וילכדוה ויקחוה לפי.
Wait, did I read that?
No.
No,
it's a
you're going to see that all these verses are the same thing.
Yeah.
It's for that reason we should make it through this very quickly.
וילכדוה ויקחוה לפי חרב ואת מלכה ואת כל עריך ואת כל הנפש אשר בה לא השאיר שריד ככל אשר עשה לעגלון ויחרם אותה ואת כל הנפש אשר בה.
Vayacharem is not got a suffix on it, right? That's not a suffix. It's part of the root.
Yeah.
Okay.
We did that already, but and and they captured it, and they struck it by the edge of the sword, and its king, it being the city's king, and all of its cities, and all of the souls.
How would you break down areha?
So it's Arim, plus the third feminine singular suffix. Her
right,
cities.
So areha is Arim Shela, the cities of her, and her is Eglon. Hebron. We're in Hebron already.
Because why?
V'et kol hanefesh.
Like that. Because
yeah.
cities are I don't know if I'd say always feminine, but they're usually feminine cities.
It is interesting. Like we think of Hebron as a city itself. So what cities does a city have? What are the cities of Hebron? It's Hebron.
Yeah, her. What does it call them in the later on? It's like in her daughters, Banoteha.
So it would be the small towns that surround it.
Yeah, it's a. And,
I think you're thinking of Ezekiel, where he talks about Sodom and her daughters.
Yeah, there, and then it's all throughout Second Chronicles as well, when different people, Tiglath-Pileser, Sennacherib, come in and they start invading everything. They capture the city and her daughters.
Yes.
Over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And every soul which was in it, and that did not leave a survivor.
But would Sarid refer to a survivor, like a person, or a remnant of anything or anyone?
I don't know. You tell me.
I think I'd have to check, but I think Sarid is almost always used of human survivors.
Is it? Okay.
That's
All right.
That's my knee-jerk reaction. Let me check the lexica while you're finishing the translation.
Sure.
Hey. Oh, finish your sentence first.
No, I was just going to finish the translation. According to all which he did to Eglon, he devoted it to the ban, and every soul which was in it.
So I've got halot pulled up here. Let's see. Someone remaining or left behind. Sounds like a person.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
Henry was. Oh, sorry. Go
It's
ahead.
okay. DCH, their first translation is survivor, escapee, refugee, or remnant, usually in the context of war. But they have a second one that's a little more vague. That which escapes, that which is left. And so
Palit is for sure a person, a fugitive that survived and run away.
And isn't that an Aramaism?
I don't think
Why?
so. This is old Hebrew.
why would it be Aramaic? Why would it be an Aramaism?
Maybe I'm just confusing vocabulary, but I felt
Are you thinking because of the vocalic points, the ai pattern?
right.
But
We do have ai pattern in Hebrew though.
Oh yeah, you have like Nagid, right?
Yeah, Nagid.
That kind of thing. So I don't think it's an Aramaism.
So my question for Henry was Herb Wolf there when you were there?
Yeah, Herb Wolf and Hassel Bullock.
Yeah.
Herb was my
mentors too.
Pardon?
They were my mentors.
Oh, then I guess we're not. We're in 3 degrees of separation.
Yes.
So this Vayacharem is the Echerim. Echerim became Vayacharem in Vav consecutive. Remember, just like Ya'aseh becomes Vaya'as, the short form, the Hifil tends to reduce the E vowel to E. So Yacharim, Vayacharem. Very nice. Anything else we would say from this? Very similar to what we've already read. So let's try to push through to the next, and we'll get through this chapter quickly. So verse 38, notice the placement of that Darga accent on the Yod. It's Vayashov.
Right.
That last syllable is O from Lashuv. Vayashov Yehoshua v'chol Yisrael imo Devira Vayilachem aleha. So Devir is a town, and Devira is to Devir, like Eglon, Eglona, Hebron, Hebrona, Devir, Devira. Devir is a nice name in Hebrew. It became the name that was used of the Holy of Holies in the temple.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Kodesh Kodeshim was called Devir.
I did not know that either. I learned something new today.
I always learn new things from Jason. He's a fount of knowledge.
I have a friend named Devir, actually, that works with me at the hotel. So, anyway, Vayashov is from Lashuv. The future, the imperfect, is called Yashuv. He will return, Yashuv. And the Vav consecutive shifts the accent most of the time in these shorter forms, so it becomes Vayashov. Notice that it's singular because it agrees with Joshua, Yoshua. And then all of Israel is again tacked on. It's tacked on again as an afterthought. And Joshua is continued as the subject of the next verse, or the next verb, and he fought against it, meaning Joshua, but also obviously the people of Israel fought as well.
Yeah, and if you compare that with verses 34 and 36, in both of those cases, it's a third masculine plural, and here's
Plural.
masculine singular.
But also notice that the imperfect _𝗔𝗕𝗦𝗔𝗓 becomes accent shifted 𝗔𝗕𝗦𝗔𝗓. So
It's funny
there we go.
because my teacher, well, I'm sure John Cook would have gotten it right, but my teacher always said 𝗔𝗕𝗦𝗔𝗓, so that's stuck in my head that way. As
but
is,
you see the accent. That accent's called tipcha.
as
The
is
little-
b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol mo'odecha,
No.
which is wrong.
No. Yeah, b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'udecha.
Yep.
Brilliant. I want to say very quickly, thanks to Jonathan Santana for signing up as a paid patron member right now.
Oh, hey, welcome to the
And-
very small club.
And Adele has a comment regarding Arabic. He is a native speaker of Egyptian Arabic, and he says that Sarid, or he's written here Sharid. I guess it's in Arabic and Hebrew. There's a interchange often between sin and shin, so that shemesh in Hebrew is shams with a sin on the end instead of shin in Arabic. So maybe it's supposed to be sharid in Arabic, but he says it means a single person who escaped a calamity or a major war. So that sounds like it's directly relevant.
Neat.
Good question. Okay, we are in verse 38, and the next reader, or 39. I had typed it and it went away. Okay, 39.
I'm a math teacher. I pay attention to stuff like that.
You know
The
what?
next reader, Jonathan.
I am not a math fan at all, but I have to take the GRE soon, and so
Yep.
I have to deal with all that nonsense.
Yep.
The difference between 38 and 39. The difference is 1.
So, 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗘𝗦𝗘𝗏 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗘𝗏 ויקום לפי חרב ויחרימו את כל נפש אשר בה לא השאיר שריד, כאשר עשה לחברון כן עשה לדבירה ולמלכה. Oh, this is interesting. וכאשר עשה ללבנה ולמלכה. Goodness gracious. Ulamalka.
Right.
That was a long one. So they captured it. Its kingdom. They captured. So that is probably a redaction. That is what we call a gloss, or at least what Michael Fishbane would call a gloss.
What are you saying is a gloss?
Clarifying what they captured. Clarifying what they captured.
Doesn't the suffix refer back to devir?
No.
Why wouldn't it refer back to devir? He captured it.
Oh, well, it could.
Who is the city?
King,
There
and
is a
all his
note.
cities.
There is a note. A few manuscripts have duha. instead
Yeah, like we had in the previous verses.
Yeah,
they
so
used
they
Duha, they
captured
captured,
them.
but here it's he captured. It's
And
Joshua.
I would say that is a good. I would say that is a good, reasonable emendation suggestion.
But if you did that, you would have to do. Oh, okay, I see. It's just that one that would need to change.
Mhm.
But otherwise, there's a play back and forth between singular and plural here. Look at the lo shir. Lo shir is singular.
Yeah.
You're right, Henry. I think you're right. I tend to think by verbalization. So if I'm wrong, correct me. I
okay.
think in real time by verbalizing. So they captured it and the kingdom and all.
Not kingdom,
And
but
her-
it's king.
Oh, I'm sorry, Malka. It's king. It's king.
Yeah, the king
Not
of the real.
Malkut. It's not Malkut. What am I thinking? It's king and all of its cities, and they smote with the edge of
them. They smote them.
Yeah, they smote them with the edge of the sword.
But think about that for a second too. Sorry to interrupt while you're in the middle of that.
That's right.
Vayakum, the m ending is masculine, but everything that we see is 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗘𝗥𝗡 𝗥𝗑𝗦𝗥𝗡. So why isn't it Vayakum?
You know what my explanation will be, Jason.
Well, we talked about that last week, right?
Well, what's my explanation, Jason?
Bad writing.
Bad writing.
Well, we had said that when you had a multiplicity of objects, that you could switch them to masculine instead of feminine.
Mm.
That's what we said.
But it would make sense though if it's all like if this isn't a multiplicity of objects. It's city and cities
and king, right?
I guess if it took king, I guess. Okay, so that's what would switch it. Okay,
I had asked that a similar question about Otam last week.
Yeah, and for some reason that jumped out. That jumped out at me last week, but this time it's like flying under the radar.
So, I'll
go
with your last week answer.
It was a great one. It was a stroke of brilliance.
Yes, it was.
Jason is very modest.
So you had Lefi Cherev, Jonathan, like they struck them by the sword. Vayacharim.
Yeah, so and they devoted every person that was in it, or they devoted every person to the ban that was in it, or to destruction, or they rendered them taboo, whichever definition you want.
Do you notice a difference between the verses that we had before this one and this one? Et kol nefesh, et kol hanefesh. Right? And the previous one said et kol hanefesh, and this one says et kol nefesh.
Yeah, the hanefesh is bad grammar.
I didn't notice that.
That's bad grammar. Bad writing.
Actually, this one would be the less proper one because nefesh is indefinite. It would make perfect sense to say vayacharimu kol nefesh asher ba. Vayacharimu kol nefesh asher ba. Like you don't need et. So we have an instance here of an indefinite direct object being marked with et. Or it could be that they accidentally left off the word hey, the word ha.
Is this the last time that phrase is used?
The last time? I don't know.
In the chapter. Yeah. Well, the reason I asked is I ran across something similar reading something a couple weeks ago. And we were talking and it left off I don't remember it was a series, like essentially a series. And then on the last one, it switched instead of doing kol ha subject or kol ha object or whatever, it did ha kol object. And I don't know, it was the last one in the series, and so we were kind of talking about maybe that was like to add emphasis or like a sign that this is the last one of these cities that he did that way. I don't know. I'm just spitballing.
The ed kol nefesh does not occur in the rest of the chapter, but in the back of my mind, I remember that kol can function as a definite article.
Means I've never heard that.
You mean as a determiner?
Yeah. So I would need to check and see if there are other instances. Thank you, Bible Works. Of et kol that's not followed by a definite article. You are right that it occurs with the definite article earlier in the chapter, though.
Yeah, but as like each individual determined. Like I can see.
If it's every one of them,
if
it's every one of them, that's sort of by nature definite. But I'm gonna have to take a minute and kind of check that out.
So whoever has the next verse has something very interesting.
Well, it would be Henry.
Oh, Henry. What's the next verse? 40.
40.
Vayakeh Yehoshua et kol haaretz hahar v'hanegev v'hashephilah v'ha'ashedot v'et kol malkehem lo hishir sarid v'et kol hanishama Hecherim ka'asher tzeva Adonai Elohei Yisrael. And Joshua.
I want to grab this real quick where you said Kol Neshama. There is one of the Psalms that says Kol Neshama tehalel Yah. Let everything that has breath praise the Lord. You've heard this expression. Let everything that hath breath praise the Lord. Right?
Yeah.
This is Kol HaNeshama. HaNeshama is from Noshem. Noshem is breathing, right? Taking in a breath. Linshom. So Kol HaNeshama, it says everything that has breath, every living thing, every spirit, if you will, everything that has breath, Tehalel Yah, let it praise God. Tehalel Yah.
Yeah. I'm aware of that.
Yeah. So Kol HaNeshama, it's also the name of a Reformed synagogue in Jerusalem, by the way, a large one. It's nice. Kol HaNeshama is the name of it. I always felt that was a bit odd. Kol HaNeshama instead of Kol Neshama, every spirit, every breathing thing. And HaNeshama, the breathing thing. All of the breathing thing, all of the spirit. And then we've been reading again and again, Kol HaNefesh, Kol HaNefesh, which to an English speaker does feel odd, right? That he killed Kol HaNefesh that was in it. It's taking like all the living things as a collective, the living thing. And that's kind of what's going on here too. HaNeshama and HaNefesh here, they're functioning as the same thing. Right? They're referring to anything that draws breath, anything that's alive.
So on verse 40, what do you think I would say that's interesting?
I don't know, but I translate it.
Well, the first word.
Yes, the first word. It's an elongated form. And we even had vayach, did we not? Earlier?
That is right.
This is like saying vayase and vayale. Vayake.
And vayas. Vayase and vayas. Yep.
Well,
so this is
good eye,
normally vayach.
I was looking at this verse. What are you seeing that I am missing? And the very first verb.
Yep.
The lamed hey is there when it usually isn't. So
I'm sure that you didn't miss it. I'm sure you just didn't think it was interesting.
Well, I have to admit I'm planning on translating it correctly. So in Joshua, although there's something that caught my eye a little earlier. So I'm going to translate this as if I was typing it out in a Google Doc. And Joshua smote all the land, the mountain and the Negev and the Shephelah and the slopes and all their kings, he did not leave a survivor. And everything that breathed, he destroyed, just as the Lord, the God of Israel, commanded. So I am intrigued by the fact that hahar is not prefaced with a conjunction. And so I am taking the phrase hahar, v'hanegev, v'hashephelah, v'ha'ashedot, 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗘𝗦𝗡 as some type of a parenthetical clause expanding on what kol haaretz means.
Yeah, so we could skip that parenthetical and just say vayake Yehoshua et kol haaretz ve'et kol malchechem. Malchechem would refer to the kings of the different parts of the land.
Right. The problem is if you don't. Oh no, that could work also. So that the parenthetical clause could end with ha'ashedot.
I think
because it's telling what the land includes.
Yeah, actually that makes more sense because kings aren't lands, and kings has a suffix on it. So I think that the parenthetical clause is just hahar v'hanegev v'hashephelah v'ha'ashedot.
Yeah, and we had a parenthetical clause at the very beginning too, so that makes sense.
Oh well, when I was in here, so sorry.
Right, that's all right.
Yeah. And
so Ashpela it refers to the plain area, like the flat area, like Rehovot is a town in the Ashpela. Because there's the coast, there's the coastal cities, cities on the sea line, and then there's flat area that it's like elevated flatland that eventually turns into the hilly area.
Yeah.
So the hilly area is like where Jerusalem is. Jerusalem's in the mountains. The Shpela is where towns are between, like right now, Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. Rehovot, Rishon LeZion is on the edge of the Shpela, but it's not really part of it because Rishon is one of the coastal cities. And the Negev is, of course, the southern part of the country. So it's referring to the entirety of the
land.
The land. The Ashedot, the slopes, refers to the land as it's going down into the sea. So that would be like Ashdod and Ashkelon, Yaffo, the cities that are on the coastline.
And the reason I brought that up is the NRSV translation puts a comma after land as if this is an enumeration. And so it translates, so Joshua defeated the whole land, comma, the hill country and the Negev. Well, I guess they don't because they don't put commas. So I misread that comma. They have in Joshua defeated the whole land, comma, the hill country and the Negev and the lowland and the slopes, comma, and all their kings. So they're treating it as a parenthetical clause by using commas instead of dashes. So the NRSV and I agree on this point.
Which still,
and so look how we get it in the Lexham English Bible.
Yeah, it's still the standard academic translation. So
for most of us, but not for all of us.
Yeah, well, the Calvinists can go away.
You shouldn't say that. Maybe we have good Calvinist people in our audience.
I know.
I am a Presbyterian, remember?
Oh yeah, but you're a weird Presbyterian.
Well, that's true.
You just called him weird.
That I am weird is not subject to debate.
I think you would make a great liberal United Methodist.
I might. All right. Verse 41.
Whose turn?
We're at Colton.
All right.
It's me.
Oh, you guys say Colton.
Yeah. Well, you know.
As somebody who's lived in Israel for too long, instead of saying Colton, I say Colton.
Well, yeah. I say Colton too, but
it's all glottal stops. I had a friend when we were my intro to Hebrew course, and she we were learning about how to pronounce stuff. She said my name Colton, like just no T, barely an L, right. And my professor was like, Colton. That is a glottal stop. That is how you need to do that.
That's Aleph.
How do you pronounce your own name?
I mean, typically I'll say Colton.
Mm-hmm.
I don't use the T unless I am enunciating it for if I'm at a drive-thru and they're like, "What's the name?" and I'm like, Colton.
Right. The other Americanism that people say is for the name Hunter, and I always say Hunter, but they say Hunter.
Hunter.
Yeah, they leave out.
Oh, because you're thinking Hunter Biden, Hunter. Yeah. That's funny. Wow. See, I just naturally say Hunter.
I've never heard that before, I have to admit.
Yeah. Hunter? You just ain't around. Yeah, you ain't around the Midwest or the South much. It sounds like.
I spent 6 years in Illinois, 3 years in Alabama, and 3 years in Kentucky.
You never heard of Hunter?
You never heard Hunter? Wow.
My granddad was a hunter.
Yeah, I never.
We used to go hunting. We used to go hunting for deer.
Hunting. Yeah, hunting.
All I can do is apologize for my ineptitude.
And the British would say, "Huh."
What? All right, Colton. I said it right. Colton. 41.
Whatever. I don't really care as long as I know who you're talking to. ויעקן יהושע מקדש ברנע ועד עזה ואת כל ארץ גושן ועד גבעון. Sorry.
ואת כל ארץ גושן. Goshen.
It's a Segelet.
What is this Goshen?
Segelet.
Could this be something like whenever the British came and they named the eastern shoreline New England? You have England, and now you have New England. You've got Mexico, and you've got New Mexico. I don't think that the land of Goshen is referring to Egypt, is it? Yes, it probably is. Kadesh Barnea is in the south. Gaza is in the southwest, and then Eretz Goshen is actually the name of the Egyptian land in which the people of the Israelites were enslaved, according to Exodus.
And Joshua smote the people from all those places. I'm just kidding. Joshua smote them from Kadesh Barnea unto Gaza, and all the land of Goshen unto Givon.
I don't think that it's talking about all the way to Egypt.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have gone back through the Sinai back to Egypt.
I have a question for Jason, because Jason can answer it, because it concerns accentuation. But he
just said that I'm eccentric.
No, accentuation.
Oh, I thought you said eccentricity.
For Aza, what is it when it stands alone? Is it Aza or Azah?
Oh,
because we have
there are a lot of places in the Bible that have like what you call milra, accentuation on the end. Azah.
But it's in pause.
But today we certainly say Azah.
Yeah, but it's in pause.
Azah.
So is it throwing the accent forward? Is it throwing
the accent it's accented as it's supposed to be. V'ad Azah.
So
V'ad Azah ve'et kol eretz Goshen.
Even though there's an atnach, it's not in pause. Or
it is in pause, but pause doesn't affect all accents.
Yeah. Okay.
Pause doesn't affect all the accentuation.
Neat.
So
it is eccentrically accentuated.
And your puns, I swear. My goodness.
So if you look at HALOT on Goshen, it says it's a Canaanite locale in southern Palestine, possibly 𝗕𝗘𝗦𝗡𝗕. And so you are right that Goshen is the name. BDB references a district in Egypt east of the Lower Nile. So you are correct for the most common use of the term. But HALOT and DCH both suggest that there is a homograph or a homophone town in southern Palestine.
This here is what? This is Gesenius's Hebrew Chaldee lexicon. He gives Goshen as a region of Egypt in which Hebrews dwelt from the time of Jacob to that of Moses, blah, blah, blah. And then number 2, a city with a neighboring district in the mountains of the tribe of Judah.
Yeah, and that would be southern Palestine.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And that's just to clarify the name.
Yeah. Let's see if there's a... Okay, district in Egypt.
Do we have any questions or comments from the...
Yeah, we haven't asked for any questions, have we? Look at us being inconsiderate and not caring.
Well, that's usually Jason's job, but I thought I'd pick up the slack this time.
Well, they may be tired because it's so repetitive from last week.
Yeah. When all you do is replace the names of cities, it gets...
Right.
2 more verses. 2 more verses.
Let's kill these 2 verses.
Yeah, and
let's kill these 2 verses, and we can talk a little bit about Psalms. He's saying hamlachim ha'ele again. Oh my gosh, that's going to take a while. Ki Adonai Elohei Yisrael nilcham leYisrael. And all these kings and their lands Joshua captured one time, at once, Pam Echat,
right.
because the Lord God of Israel was fighting for Israel. Why does it say Echat instead of Achat?
It's in pause.
Good guess.
Yes, that is true. Wow. Okay, I'm going to share a different screen.
I'm sorry.
Why does it say Pam Echat instead of Pam Achat? I want to share my window with Microsoft Word.
I had a feeling we wouldn't be able to finish this passage, even though...
Yeah, this is
not as easy as we thought it was, is it?
This is something. Okay, so can you see my Word? You can see me typing?
No. All we see is 4 faces.
Share your
window. Oh, yeah, right. Can you put that up, Jonathan?
Yes.
We are a deck of cards.
Can you now see?
Yes.
You see just a mess of letters?
Yes.
Yes?
Shalom.
Okay. All right. So the word is echad, and the feminine is achat. Okay, achat and echad. What is the difference between these two? Why does one have a? Why does one have a and the other have eh? This is an interesting feature of the tradition we received from the Masoretes, and that is, let's think of, how about this word? The word is arim, cities, and another like it is harim, mountains, right? What do you get whenever you put the article in front of it? Naturally, you would want to have patach with dagesh forte. But the ayin says, no, I don't like dagesh forte, and so that wants to lengthen as a kamatz. But this situation in which you have a guttural between two kamatzes, kamatz, when you have a guttural between two kamatzes, it doesn't like to stand, and it goes to segol. He'arim and he'harim, the mountains and the cities, right? So what we have here is the guttural chet that is sitting between two instances of patach. That's perfectly legitimate. But here, whenever we have the word one as masculine, for whatever reason, the second syllable becomes long. And so what would have been kamatz becomes segol kamatz. Okay? So if the word achat ends in pause and the patach is lengthened because of pause, it's lengthened to kamatz, then you would have again this instance of patach / kamatz before guttural with kamatz, and it says no, it doesn't accept it. So instead of achat with long kamatz, it changes that first syllable to segol, echat. So echat. As far as the vowels are concerned, echat is vocalized like echad. But whenever echad is in pause, not in pause, but in construct with another word, echad ha'am, for example, it's not echad ha'am, but achad ha'am, one of the people.
Neat.
Echad ha'anashim, because then you no longer have kamatz, and so it reverts to the A quality vowel. Fun, yes?
Yes, fun. We have 2 minutes.
And yeah, I'm so sorry to take that time, but it was kind of a different thing, so it was a little bit necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and let's read through the last verse, and that will be it. The last verse. Why is it not coming up? Because it's not on stage. There you go. Okay, so 43. Yeah, I translated 42. So 43 with Jonathan.
Okay, Vayashov Yehoshua v'chol Yisrael imo el hamachane hagilgala. So Joshua returned, and all of Israel with him, to the camp Gilgal-ward.
Gilgal is to Gilgal.
Yeah, I wonder why
Gilgal-ward.
I wonder why there's a article on that.
Right.
Weird.
I don't know, but you can say ha'artza to the land, habaita to the house.
Right.
Great. That finishes up Joshua chapter 10 for us. Let's very quickly, make some suggestions of psalms that we want to go through, and I'll save it. And
any comments from the audience about what psalms you would like to learn?
Right. I think it's kind of obvious that we want Psalm 1 and 2. We want Psalm 23 for sure.
Psalm 100, perhaps. That's a well-known one.
I want 121. That's Esaina El Harim.
Can I suggest taking one of the historical narrative psalms, like Psalm 105?
Can you give an example? Which one?
Psalm 105 or Psalm 106.
105 or 106.
And I'm trying to think. It's 78, another one, but I'd have to check.
121 is for sure Shir Lamalot. You say 105?
Are these the ones that Carl says that past narrative occurs in poetry?
I don't know. This 105 is Hodu Ladonai Kir'u Vishmo, Hodiu V'amim Alilotav, Shiru Zamru Lo, Sichu B'chol Mitlotav. Is this the one you're talking about?
Yeah, so 105 spends time reciting the history of Israel, and then it leads into 106, which becomes a confession of their sins that are also anchored in the historical tradition. So either one of those, it's just a suggestion, but since we've been working with a historical book, maybe seeing how the psalm adapts that tradition would be interesting.
All right, we'll think about that, because those are both rather long, and
yeah, they are.
Yeah. I like 43 and 17 respectively.
So I'll go through these and see, what we can put together. And what else? Anything from the live chat?
The live chat has been quiet tonight.
So Jonathan, you suggested 17, right?
No, I suggested.
Or is that Colton?
That was me.
Colton, what's in 17 exactly?
It's hold on. It's just a prayer. it's one of the Davidic Psalms. The hide me in the shadow of your wings from the wicked.
Oh,
yeah. It's a refuge. You are my refuge kind of thing.
Is your dwelling place.
We might do the one that Hodu Ladonai Kitov Kilo Olam Chasdo, the Kilo Olam Chasdo phrase.
130.
Can't remember. 136. Yeah.
Is that what it is?
I believe so. Yeah. Kilo Olam Chasdo.
Yeah, Psalm 136.
And what is 150 is the one Kolana Shama. Let everything that hath. I really like that.
It has
Let everything that hath breath, praise the Lord. Hallelujah. No, it's just hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Kolana Shama Te'elelia. Yeah, at the very last verse. That's a very short one that could be incorporated very simply.
This looks good, like a good list. We are 3 minutes over.
All right, we are over, so let's go to Wine Green and have fun. I'll see you guys in a few minutes on the other stream. All of you guys out there in viewing land, please go to our youtube.com/thehebrewcafe. Go under live tab and join us for Wine Green Hebrew.
It should be up there on the main page after restart, I think.
Yeah.
Jonathan,
all right, so we'll see you guys in just a minute.
This is your time to come and join, like you said you wanted to. This has been
indeed.
Look,
go on Patreon.com. Patreon.com/the Hebrew Cafe and click on the link to come up with us on the
Okay, bye folks. I gotta go get my car, so I'm gonna step out. Thanks for having me.
Right.
And I'll see you again next week. But probably a little bit late because of summer school.
Hasta la vista, Henry.
Hasta la vista, baby.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.